Ism's good, pal. How you feeling, pal?
Pretty good, pal.
Okay, well, you look like $1 million.
Yeah, had a little migraine because the rain's coming in. So
old, man.
Yeah, no. So I don't know if it's like just the intense headache or if it's like the medication. After all these years, I haven't been able to figure it out, but I just feel like 50% dumber the next day. So.
Well, I have a feeling like you were
here it comes.
Abducted by aliens, and this is the result.
I mean, I would have preferred actually to be abducted by aliens.
You say that now.
Mm-hmm.
Howdy, folks, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast, That Would Be Rad. We're a podcast that majors in 80s and 90s nostalgia, comic culture, all things paranormal, and minors in retro video games, tabletop RPGs, pre-internet mysteries, and raising our kids to be half as cool as we were back in the 80s. We're your hosts, Woody Brown
and Tyler Benz.
What's up, man?
You know, I think we always just done that instinctively differently.
Yeah.
After like 300 episodes, I just realized that like our little sort of alley-oop there is totally different. Handoff.
I guess it is an alley-oop.
It is an
I'm
alley-oop.
impressed by your sports
oh, come on. You know I'm
terminology.
a huge basketball fan.
From the 90s.
Yeah, only the 90s.
Yeah, I think that's a testament to how our personalities in real life, too.
Mm-hmm.
We do things differently.
Yeah.
Somehow to achieve the, I guess, combined, similar, or same goal, I guess. I don't know.
Sort of like a Captain Planet situation.
Okay, well.
You're heart, but I'm fire. So.
Now, is heart the
yeah.
Hispanic one?
Oh, yeah.
Of course. I'm pretty sure I had that haircut at some point in my life anyway.
Wait,
so it's not just the tan skin that makes me look familiar.
Wait, didn't he just have like the bowl cut?
Bowl cut,
yeah.
bro, with just flat, straight across bangs. Not even like a cool sort of, mop top.
Sort of the Edgar, though, right?
Edgar.
Like the Edgar cut, just straight
I'm
bowl
not
cut.
putting that in there.
It's literally just a haircut.
Thing. It's not a thing.
It's literally called the Edgar. Look, I'm typing it in right now. Literally,
Let me just say.
Hold on.
Okay.
That's what shows up.
I can,
Although these are way cooler than what we were talking about.
Yeah, mine was just like kind of like cute kid 80s.
Well, you think.
It wasn't as like intense as the Captain Planet kid. But now, real quick question. Speaking of Captain Planet, here's something that just popped in my head and I cannot remember. And so I'm asking it now.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, folks, this show's going to be pretty random today because, we missed last week for various reasons. I guess it all boils down to this time of year is just crazy for both of us. Both sets of our kids.
Yeah.
Just finished school. There's 1,000 different sort of school assemblies that we go to, luckily, because our kids are hard workers. There's end-of-year sports. There's just all kinds of stuff going on.
Soccer tournaments.
And then just normal jobs and stuff have just been intense. So, not to mention, Tyler's computer is we're still kind of working out some kinks here in the studio. So, anyway.
Well, I did send it off, and I believe we should be fully recovered. Okay. By next week. So I'm really...
This is great news.
This is amazing news.
So anyway, we're going to do our best all summer long to be as consistent as possible.
Yes.
That I promise you. Okay? All of that to say, I kind of just feel like sitting across from my best friend here and just chit-chatting about what's been going on. There's been a lot, whether that's in the news, things that we've been watching on TV, things that the listeners have sent to us, things that I want to share on the show. So anyway, sit back, relax. It's going to be a fun one. One of the questions that I had real quick, since we were randomly talking about Captain Planet, is I can't remember, was this like was Captain Planet on a network or was it just straight up public television? I have no idea. Well, he's cheating. He's going to look it up.
What? Oh, was I not supposed to?
Well, no, you can. I mean, ultimately, if you don't know, we kind of have to look it up. I don't remember.
No. It definitely was.
Network television?
Yeah, but...
I don't think so, man.
But growing up where I did in rural Cleveland, Georgia, we didn't get it there. It was like one of those I would have to see if I went to my dad's.
On like cable or something?
Well...
I just don't know if I believe you, man. Will you please look that up?
Well,
was it a public broadcasting channel show?
TBS.
TBS, okay.
First premiered and aired on the TBS network in the United States in 1990.
Wow.
Man, it feels just like yesterday.
What a year, man. TBS, 1990. What a time.
But see, we didn't have, like, TBS wasn't, like, we never had that where I was. We had ABC, NBC.
Your antenna wasn't strong enough.
Well, my stepdad, we did get like the old school satellites that would turn. I know I've talked about this 100 times, but I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe we only watched cartoons on TBS because TBS was like just kind of lame. Like,
excuse me?
I mean, back then.
Watch it, pal. Okay. No, especially back then it was not. Bro, that's how the world, especially the United States, got to watch the Braves all the time.
Yeah, and I had already checked out. Once Raphael Belliard was out, that was it for me.
Between 90 and like, I'll say 98 was my sort of ultimate baseball time.
I mean,
that's
true.
Just to be a fan. But then, then the next crew came in with like Chipper Jones and Andrew Jones and all those folks. And I was just kind of not necessarily checked out, just, I was in college. And so I was trying to.
You're talking about that first.
Just trying to graduate.
Like Steve Avery, Dave Justice.
Oh, yeah, man. Yes.
Belliard.
The early 90s, man. It's just such a good time for sports for me. But I don't know if that's a combination of, well, I take that back. I do know that that's a combination of the time. There wasn't, social media and everybody was in everyone's business, but it was also, I think, my age and just being interested in sports and baseball cards.
You're like 25 by then.
Okay, man. Come on. Anyway, boy, what a random thought, man. I haven't thought about Captain Planet in a long, long time.
Yeah, I used to really like it. Do you remember another show called Cops?
Are you serious?
No.
Bad boys.
No, not that Cops.
Oh, there was another one.
Remember this show?
Oh yes, man. Yes, I do remember that.
Now this show.
He's talking about the animated show called Cops.
Yeah, man. I do love like those, like the very, very early 90s, like anime. Like, well, we just said cartoons, so that's what we're calling it today. Those like early 90s cartoons where there were a ton of like obscure ones, but like really cool. Like my all-time favorite of all time, I still think it's such a bummer that it's like hard to find, but even just finding like the intro is like, you kind of have to like search all around just to find it. But that's like Bionic 6.
Oh yeah, man.
It's so good. And I'm convinced that Jim Lee and his X-Men #1, like his sort of retaking of the X-Men, which is like the
resurgence time for us, man.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it still may be the all-time highest selling comic still to this day.
Really?
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure. Well, let me go back. Actually, it's more like X-Men or Uncanny X-Men 250, where he came out with like all the new costumes. I mean, they are strikingly similar to the Bionic 6 costumes.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Hold on, let me look at this up.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they are pretty similar, but it's also just, let's see, this came out in what?
87.
87. Okay, well, it does have that vibe.
Yeah, I mean, even the little like the little straps to like break up your proportions in your limbs, and stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool. Man, I barely remember this show.
Yeah,
though.
dude, I only was able to see it at my dad's, and it came on at like 6:30. Maybe it was like a TBS or something. It was on like some network that I didn't have access to back at home. But man, it was so cool.
It reminds me of shows like Centurions.
Oh, yeah. Centurions.
I mean, there's just a bunch of
awesome.
Mask. Have you heard that like Mask is going to be?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was at Free Comic Book
Yeah,
Day,
we talked about it. Yep.
We talked about this new sort of, I don't know if it's just in comics or if they're planning on coming out with live action stuff.
Well, I don't know if there still is, but originally I think there was a live action happening, which is pretty amazing.
Speaking of live action, I guess remakes, the new Masters of the Universe, I read some early reviews.
Yeah.
And everybody says it's amazing.
I mean, it looks like cheesy, but I think that could be actually really good.
Yeah, so what I read, they didn't, put in any spoilers or anything, but I read that basically it's just a really good, kind of feel-good movie. Of course, there's the nostalgia angle, but it's just awesome,
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, I did have, speaking of Mask, I did have one of my favorite toys growing up, and I don't know what happened to it, but it, I think it was called the Switchblade.
And by the way, we still, every time I go into Wizards, Dustin reminds me that we need to have him on.
Yeah, we definitely
to go over like old toys and stuff, because there's so many toys that I get. Well, I mean, just like shows, like I've completely forgot about Bionic 6, even Cops. But the second that I see, the picture of it, I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, it's amazing how that just comes flooding back.
Oh yeah.
And I bet there are tons of shows and then toy lines that we've completely forgotten about that exist out there that, at that time, maybe they just had one season,
right.
of stuff. But during that time, it felt like such a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, that kind of stuff is just so awesome, man.
So one of the cool things too about Cops is it's funny because as a kid, I remember like one of the things about it like kind of made you feel like kind of weird. Like it was almost like there was something that was like sort of disturbing just about the animation style, because it was so different from the typical sort of animation. And then I would find out later that the animation supervisor was a guy named Peter Chung, who went on to do Ion Flux.
Oh wow!
Which is like as soon as I say that, now you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like it just makes you feel kind of like uncomfortable. As an adult, it's like cool now, but back then it was like, what is this?
There's a bunch of stuff like that from when we were kids that I think was way more serious. We've talked about this, I think, on the show, but certainly over the last couple of weeks. The Batman animated series,
oh yeah,
was way more serious than I remembered it being.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, Paul Dini, they're writing. There's no, obviously, like Bruce Timm, and it was like there wasn't a bit of that show that was like made for kids, pretty much. Like you go back and you're just like, oh, this was written for me, like this,
And correct, like in my memory, I felt like it was like a moment in time, like history kind of thing. This series coming out. I mean, since I haven't really dove into how well it did and all that. I imagine it did very well, but I just feel like that time period was just a huge Batman explosion.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I remember I would rush home from school, and if I got home early enough from the bus, I could catch like maybe a full episode of the '66 Batman. And then, it was on Fox originally, and then the animated series, which I guess it was in syndication, maybe by then.
Maybe I don't know,
or maybe actually that was when it just aired. Was like 4 or something.
And I don't really remember like how, even when things weren't necessarily in syndication, how they would like do reruns later. You know what I mean? Like they would have a new episode, and then, hey, what are we going to play at the 3:30 on a Thursday slot? Throw in the, last week's episode of Batman, an animated series, stuff like that. I don't really remember.
Well, see, I remember like even like when watching it like after school, it was all kind of like in order. So, and they would do, I don't know if it originally started off like this or if it was like whatever network or, the regional setup was where I lived, but I don't know if it started off like this, but then eventually they started doing like 2 episodes like back to back. So like I remember in an afternoon I would watch like the Heart of Ice like double episode, like the Mr. Freeze thing, or like the Clayface double episode. So yeah, dude, that show is amazing. All the lore behind it is just like, it's always been fascinating to me. Like I said, Bruce Timm, he's a legend now, but he's sort of the artist that kind of did that whole thing. One of the things that made it stand out so much is it was like highly, highly, highly inspired by like Art Deco. So it's so brilliant and so like geometric in.
Yeah, I just love the design, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just so good.
It's so like timeless. Like it really is. Like is this taking place in like the 40s, or is this taking place like in the future? Like it's kind of hard to tell, but yeah, it's so good. And a little bit of bragging, but
here we go.
My pal Chip Kidd, you may know him as the most important graphic designer of our time. He created the design for a little known property known as Jurassic Park and stuff like that. I was in a gallery show that he put on, and as a gift, he sent me, which this book alone is like really, really hard to find, and it's like hundreds of dollars, but he sent me the art of Batman the Animated Series because he had like helped like create that book, so it's like a ton of like.
Oh wow! So he like curated it.
Yeah, and he's done a lot of that with like Superman and Batman through the years, and like there's like a style. It's really he's so amazing. He's so good, and actually,
That's awesome.
I'm so intimidated. But he said numerous times like, anytime you want to do like a project, hit me up and let's do it, which is awesome. But he sent me like an autographed copy.
I can't wait to work with him.
Yeah,
no, that's awesome.
He's
man.
amazing. Yeah,
yeah. I know you've talked about him over the years with me for sure. You know, dude, it's funny that we're just sitting here kind of reminiscing and talking about like growing up and stuff, because I gotta give a shout out to one of our lovely listeners who sent us an email this week. Her name is Siobhan Berry.
Love that name.
And you know, here's the thing too, folks. I think I've said this on the show. Ever since we started a podcast, it's pretty rare for me to, you know, listen to a podcast. What I find myself doing is either listening to audiobooks. Tyler can definitely attest to the fact that I just read physically and listen to audiobooks like nonstop. And so I just kind of, you know, go through books like crazy. So anyway, all that to say, Siobhan is a listener of our show, but she also has her own podcast, and it's called Grandma's Been There. Now, first, her email was very sweet, very complimentary of our show. She you know, and of course that always makes us feel amazing. But she had some specifics, comments to our Toynbee Tiles episode, and
she's like, a couple things you could fix, guys.
No, she mentions that while she was listening to the episode about the Toynbee tiles, she kind of went online, looked for some pictures of the tiles, and was so surprised to basically realize that she was familiar with them and that she had stepped over them a ton of times.
Wow.
What's interesting about her, and the reason I bring it up is a couple of reasons. Number one, in absolute gratitude and thanks for her being a listener, but also introducing me to her podcast, because I got to tell you, man, this email serves as a reminder of like a different perspective from a different generation, right? So she also talked about how she was surprised to hear us talk about, or me specifically talk about how I couldn't make it through 2001: Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Well, from her perspective.
Well, we both said that.
Yeah, both of us, right? Back then it was sort of like, hey, this is what the future is going to look like.
Right.
And so everybody was just staring at the screen, just like, wow, in amazement and all that. So it was just really cool to hear her perspective. Additionally, you know, and I think we mentioned this in the Toynbee Tiles episode, it's not a huge surprise to me because we did it ourselves, walking through the streets of New York.
Yeah.
There's so much other stuff going on, interesting characters, tons of people, you know, everything, that it's easy to ignore even the small details right there on the road.
Yep.
And she talked about this character that was this blind musician and poet named Moondog, who would wear this Viking outfit. And so anyway, it intrigued me. So I thought, I'm going to check out her podcast. So what I do whenever I do listen to podcasts is I go all the way back to the first episode.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, for better or worse for that show, it's just what I do.
Yeah.
And one of her first episodes was called like Beatlemania Part 1. And her episodes, by the way, are like 25, 30 minutes.
Must be nice.
And so, yeah, right. And the second I hit play, man, I got to be honest with you, and I'm not just saying this.
Jealous.
No. I was hooked, man. Because she goes into what it was like for the Beatles, to, you know, from her fourth grade. So she was the same age as my daughter is now. When, you know,
the
as
Ed Sullivan
Beatles,
show?
Yes,
Wow,
exactly.
That's amazing.
And so hearing that perspective, man, it was amazing.
Wait,
and so
real quick, what was the show called again?
It's called Grandma's Been There. And she says it's where she talks about the weirdness of growing up in the 50s and 60s. And so it was just really neat, for us to be able to connect. I, of course, told her how much of a Beatles fan I was, and even my daughter and stuff, and how she had, various crushes on different Beatles when she first watched A Hard Day's Night.
I mean, my daughter's middle name is Jude.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
And anyway.
Man, that's amazing, dude. I mean, we're definitely probably going to lose all our listeners to this new show, but...
Yeah, right, exactly. So anyways, go check it out.
This.
Grandma's Been There. It's on Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcast. It's really awesome. So shout out to Siobhan for reaching out to us. Anytime any listeners email us or send us a message on Instagram, I can't tell you how awesome it is.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really just one of the main sort of pillars of why we love having a show. It's just connecting with people all around the world. It's just the greatest thing. So anyway, go check out her podcast. It's really, really good. I think you're going to love her voice immediately. It's just great.
Yeah, I can't wait to dive in. I mean, one thing that we've always said is like we were born in the wrong decade. Like we were born, we've always said like, God, I wish we could have grown up in the 60s. Like there was just some kind of like weird lived in sort of aspect of that era that just felt more like natural. And I'm excited to dive in because...
Well, it's funny that you say that too, because I also mentioned, so part of her episode, she talks about really, really wanting a mod haircut. And she goes into this thing. I'm not going to spoil it because it's just good. But anyway, and I was like, oh, well, that's where we got our band name, The Modern Society, as a nod to that fashion and the time and the things that we loved about the 60s. So anyway.
I literally have mod tattooed on the inside of my lip.
That he does.
We forget about it, but it's there.
Right. So a couple other things that I wanted to talk about in this show is we've gotten some recent messages via Instagram and emails and stuff that are super interesting and interesting takes on things. Also some things that people wanted to give us a heads up on that I think are really, really interesting. But before we get to that, I got to tell you, bro.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
All new drinks are now at McDonald's. With refreshers like the Strawberry Watermelon Refresher and the Mango Pineapple Refresher with popping boba. To crafted sodas like the Sprite Berry Blast with berry flavors and cold foam. Who knew ice cold drinks could be so fire? Try them all now at McDonald's.
Refreshers contain caffeine. Copyright 2026, The Coca-Cola Company. Sprite is a registered trademark of The Coca-Cola Company.
This summer, serve up the Cookout Classics, Heinz Ketchup, and Kraft Singles. Every good burger needs a layer of perfectly melty cheese and thick, rich ketchup. We all know it's not a cookout without Heinz and Kraft.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Whatever your thing, it could be anything. Canva helps you make that thing a thing. Canva is a simple online tool thing. It's a way to design with our magic AI tool things. You can social media your thing, generate images or videos of your thing, make decks for presentations to show your thing. Whatever needs to be done for your thing, Canva can make it an even better and bigger thing. Canva, the thing that makes anything a thing.
You thought this was your Run Club era. Turns out, it was more of a thinking about Run Club era. The good news? Someone's marathon training is about to start. Sell your workout gear on Depop. Just snap a few photos, and we'll take care of the rest. They get their race day fit, and you get a payout for trying. Someone on Depop wants what you've got. Start selling now. Depop, where taste recognizes taste.
Pool days call for cookouts and lots of laundry. This Memorial Day at Lowe's, save $80 on a Charbroil Performance Series 4-burner gas grill. Now just $199. Plus, get up to 45% off select major appliances to keep dishes, clothes, and food fresh. Having fun in the sun is easy with us in your corner. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/27. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. See associate or Lowe's.com for details.
The road to the NBA Finals ends here, with star guard setting the tone. The Cavs eye another upset, while the Knicks
Expedia and Visit Scotland invite you to come step into centuries of history that await in Scotland. Castles steeped in legend walk along cobblestone streets. Come share the warmth of stories passed down through generations. This is a place with a past that is fully present today and all yours to explore. Plan your Scottish escape today at expedia.com/Visit Scotland.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
It's a pretty cool place if you're a Martian.
Or a vampire.
You think you really know what's happening around here, don't you?
We're fighters for truth, justice, and the American way.
Hey, this is Woody.
And this is Tyler. And you're listening to That Would Be Rad.
And now, back to our show. I recently rewatched Encino Man, which I watch it a couple times a year. It's one of my favorite movies. It reminds me of being, a 12-year-old kid watching the movie for the first time. We've mentioned it on the show before how overseas the poster said California Man instead of Encino Man because everyone except for Americans knew what the heck Encino was, right?
Yeah.
It's just one of the greatest movies ever. Well, because I guess the internet is what it is, I landed on this video that gave some behind the scenes stuff that I had never known before. And it was just super interesting to kind of dive down that rabbit trail. So if you'll permit me, I thought we'd talk a little bit about
Yeah,
Encino
that sounds
Man.
awesome.
Recently, 2 high school students unearthed a prehistoric man in their own backyard. Their story is completely true. Encino Man.
Flamage. Oh, he is so greasy.
What's cool about this movie is it's kind of a window to me. Now, if you show, and I have shown my oldest this movie, it's a cool window into the 90s. It's sort of like, I don't know, even the colors of the movie, it seems like an old Taco Bell commercial, or like you could just imagine like a Surge soft drink magazine ad or whatever. But I don't know, there's something about it, Pauly Shore, everything is just so aggressively early 90s from the slang, the clothes, the music, the hair. I mean, it's just the best, man. And whenever I watch it, it kind of makes me feel like I'm back in this time of year, early summer break. I'm renting it from Blockbuster because I don't really know what else around. I was like, dude, I got to get Encino Man. Apparently, though, according to this video, the movie was kind of almost a total disaster behind the scenes. So this is what's super cool, too. The director and the producer originally weren't even movie directors, really. They made behind-the-scenes documentaries for movies like Poltergeist, Indiana Jones, and The Last Crusade, Apocalypse Now, stuff like that. And then, one day, they basically pitched to Disney. They basically said, okay, what if 2 loser high school students accidentally dig up a frozen caveman in their backyard? And then Disney was like, all right, here's $7 million. You have 33 days. Figure it out.
Wow.
33 days,
That's
bro.
amazing.
So what's funny, too, is it kind of explains the energy of the movie a little bit. Like, the whole thing kind of feels like everybody's sort of hopped up on Mountain Dew a little in a weird way.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, too, is so Disney, even though they gave him the green light, they did it kind of with the caveat of, all right, here's what you need to do, though. Because this is his first real movie, so to speak, like fictional movie. And so they said, okay, shoot this proof of concept version first to kind of prove to us that the movie can work at all. And so they did that. Listen to this, man. I could not believe this when I heard this. Guess who was supposed to play Link first?
Who?
Well, if you were Corey Feldman, he would have said, oh yeah, me, I got the call because he's been doing that a lot lately.
Wow.
But no, it wasn't Corey Feldman.
Oh, okay. He probably did get the call.
Nah, I don't know, man. He also says he was supposed to play Jack in Titanic. Okay.
Yeah, but he was given like a ton of roles, or like offered a ton of those roles.
I don't know, bro.
Okay.
I know he says that, but I think there's like a pretty strong community of people that are like, making it up.
Yeah, it could be.
Okay. Ben Stiller was supposed to play Link,
Oh.
which is just crazy to think about, man. Because even though to me this was like the first time I remember seeing Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
I feel like he makes the movie. You know?
Yeah, dude. But Pauly Shore, though.
Oh, true.
I mean,
100%. Yeah. I just mean as that caveman, he just looked so cool, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And also, apparently, speaking of Pauly Shore, he was almost beginning to play Link.
I mean, I could actually kind of, well, I don't know, because he would almost have to play the straight man, which I don't really,
Exactly.
I don't know that would work.
Yeah, and Pauly Shore apparently thought the same way. He's like, why? He said to them, apparently, like, why would you cast me as the silent caveman?
Right.
My entire thing is talking like this weird Californian, you know?
Yeah.
Which is a fair point. Mm-hmm. He is way more hilarious when he's just being himself, you know?
Yeah.
And so many times when I'm watching the movie, I wonder, and I feel like, dude, we have talked about this, because I feel like we've talked about this on the show, or maybe Patreon or something, where we've talked about how, like, when you watch the movie, it totally feels like Pauly Shore just kind of went in there. And it makes sense now that I know that these directors were kind of new at this whole thing. Mm-hmm. Because it seems like Pauly Shore is just going in and be like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be myself. And they're like, go with it, man.
Right.
And he just riffs, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he is one of those guys. I mean, very different in style, but he's like a Vince Vaughn would come in later and do. And it's just like, there's just so much sort of, just being a director, it's just like, it just seems like it'd be the easiest job in the world, because you're just like, okay, just let them roll. Just let's get as many takes as we can get, and you're gonna easily get like the one,
Oh yeah, for sure. What I don't know is actually, I'm pretty sure, 99% sure that Pauly Shore, yeah, he hosted stuff on MTV before Encino Man. So that's what I mean by he was just being himself, because I remember he used to do the exact same thing, but on MTV. And so I feel like maybe it just doesn't feel like, there's no way that the scriptwriters wrote down a lot of what he did in that movie. I think he just was like, dude, I could just do this better if it's just me.
What was his character called? His like
Stoney?
No, his like
the Weasel.
The
man.
Weasel, yeah.
What's up, you guys? For those of you people that aren't or too young to remember me on MTV, I had a show on MTV from 1990 to 95 or 6. It was called Totally Pauly, and it was on every day from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, followed by Yo MTV Raps followed my show. And my show is basically people are like, well, what was Totally Pauly? Totally Pauly to me was probably one of the first reality shows ever. It was basically me on the streets with people, just, messing with them and having fun and looking in the camera. And that's when I kind of created a relationship with you people and the camera going, what's up, buddy? And this is Major. And here, check out this video. And that's kind of where it all started. And it kind of happened by accident. It's almost like that Reese's peanut butter commercial where you accidentally got like the peanut butter stuck in the chocolate and you taste it and you're like, oh my God, this tastes awesome. So, because I remember when we first did my first show on MTV, the Totally Pauly show, it was on Sunset Strip. Me and the producer, Paul Cockrell and Carol Donovan, went back to my mom's house going, this is either going to be awesome or just terrible. And it was just funny. It was funny. I remember the first video I did that I hosted was Billy Idol's Rock the Cradle of Love. And it was back when MTV played music videos. Back when MTV, was more music driven. Now it's more TV shows. But MTV is still great, And I just want to thank MTV for giving me opportunity, because after MTV, that's when we got into the films and stuff like that. So, hugs, kisses. This is Pauly Shore signing off from MTV. You'll check out a video because it's Major.
Another interesting thing was that Brendan Fraser apparently really didn't want to do the movie at all. He turned it down multiple times because, and I didn't know this though at the time, but he had done School Ties, I think right before this. Now I don't remember if the release date was before or after, but he had done this serious dramatic movie. And then now he's like, got Disney knocking on his door saying, okay, but that was great, and we love your performance. But what if you were like this screaming caveman that eats shampoo?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
apparently, too, Sean Astin hated the script. And basically, this is allegedly, Disney had to kind of, they just backed up a dump truck full of money, basically, to make him agree to it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. When you rewatch it, you can kind of, I feel like he probably didn't like it, because his character is kind of the worst, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's true or not, but I just, because he's kind of like, and it ends up being great. And, if you wanted to get super serious about it, it's a good sort of story about what matters in friendship and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And whether or not being the popular kid in school matters versus just like having great friends and that kind of thing. Because, he's trying to be popular. He thinks, oh man, now I can get the girl that I've always wanted because I found a caveman. He's using his friend to do that. But man, it's real easy to not like him.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's one of those, like those necessary characters, not necessarily a MacGuffin, but it's like, he's kind of like the Judas in sort of the Christ story, where it's like sort of the linchpin of like, hey, how do we create conflict, and then how do we provide resolution? And so it's like, everything starts out cool. He's, we're friends, everybody's good. And then it's like the motives start turning a little more selfish. And then that's, friendship falls apart, blah, blah, blah. And then they get back together.
Yeah. He also takes everything so seriously, which is probably more reminiscent of me.
Yeah.
While everybody else is just like, Stoney and Link are just out having a good time, and he's mad because they had a good time. That part's not me, but it does serve as a good sort of contrast to the other chaotic characters there. But another thing that I found interesting was, whenever they do, when Stoney does that "I'll be back"
right
sort of nod, apparently Disney kept trying to remove that joke because they were worried about rights permission. And basically eventually the head of Disney at the time, Jeffrey Katzenberg, supposedly joked that he'd personally mow Arnold Schwarzenegger's lawn if they kept the joke in the movie. And then Arnold approved it because, it was awesome. And and what's cool is in that time, Terminator 2 was just humongous.
Oh yeah.
And then this movie came out shortly thereafter, and it was just such a cool, nod to that movie, because everybody at the time would immediately know it.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Terminator 2, things are starting to look a lot closer to that movie.
You mean with like AI and
AI and like the data centers and it's getting dark out
Skynet.
there. Skynet, yeah, 100%. Yeah. Encino Man was really cool. I need to watch it. I haven't seen it in several years, but I also kind of think it has that thing that like a lot of 80s movies had, like E.T., Mac and Me, even sort of like Flight of the Navigator, where it's like you have a group of kids or teenagers and they're like finding this thing, and then this like sort of character that's from like another place, whether it's like outer space, whether it's, from the Stone Age or whatever, Frozen. Yeah, I love that. There's something about that, like that trope that's like, it's always a hit to me.
Yeah.
It's like
it was always
one
of my favorites.
Yeah.
Even still though, like there's a recent movie that over the last couple of years. There's two actually. There's one that came out this year, I think. I can't remember. But there's one a few years ago, or at least a year ago, called like Elio or something like that, where remember it had that little fuzzy alien creature. And the girl has those like fake teeth, and she's like hisses at it and stuff.
I love that movie.
It was so good, but really, it's just E.T. retold.
Yeah, it had man, who's the guy that's like? Oh, Willem Dafoe was in it. I don't think that is it. Elio, I think, is the Pixar.
Yeah, probably.
The Legend of Ochi.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen
Scandinavian.
Yeah, it's cool. It feels very Scandinavian / Wes Anderson, sort of.
Yeah,
really cool.
I want to say there's a connection there. I think like the guy that directed it or the director of photography was like an intern for Wes Anderson, something like that.
It is beautiful. Like it looks stunning.
And of course, we can't all hopefully forget that in a way, it was a little bit of a Goonies reunion at the time because Sean Astin and Ki Hugh Kwan, who played Data from the Goonies, was in there.
Yeah.
And then just to kind of wrap it all up, because there's more facts and stuff, I always thought it was cool too later on in other Pauly Shore movies. It was almost like an Easter egg that you had to find, and that was, when was Brendan Fraser gonna show up? If you remember, he was in Son-in-Law. He is like walking in the dorm room, and as Rebecca, I think was her name, she is in the dorm. She just got there, and he comes walking by with like a towel on his head, like he just got out of the shower. And somebody, I think this is the one where he like bites into another frog or something, like he does in Encino Man. And then I forget where the other
dude. I don't know.
You don't remember that?
I have no recollection of this at all.
Oh man!
But this is awesome. I love this.
He also appears in the Army now. He looks like just like a normal. He's just like a normal Army guy in the Army now. And on his name tag, it says Link.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of this. That's amazing.
Super cool, man.
Yeah, In the Army Now is. I remember like back in the day it being like my favorite Pauly Shore movie.
Well, I liked Son-in-Law, man. Come on.
No, it was good, but In the Army Now was like, I don't know, it just like he really had sort of hit his stride. Well, I mean, Son-in-Law too, but
yeah, it was also funny because that's like he shaved his curly hair off. It was the whole thing, and then there's Jury Duty. And that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was kind of like, everybody's kind of getting used.
Right.
We're a little over it.
Yep.
Yeah. Biodome though, man, come on.
I do like Biodome.
So good.
Yeah.
What's crazy is I think apparently when Encino Man came out, it got terrible reviews. Pauly Shore won a Razzie.
What?
Meanwhile, every kid of the time, at least that I knew, we all loved it.
That's so strange. I mean, I guess because we were kids, we had no sort of grasp on, critics and stuff. But yeah, dude, every kid that I knew was like, "Oh man, have you seen Encino Man?"
And it was just one that, I must have watched 1,000 times.
Yeah.
What's interesting too about this movie, and I think Pauly Shore in general, is I'm willing to bet. Now, my son thought he was hilarious, but he also thought the guy that played Matt, who's like shush, he thought that was hilarious just because of how ridiculous the character was. Like he's like, "Do you guys want to know what he really is?"
His name isn't Linkovich Chomovsky, and he's not from Estonia.
Matt, will you just stop this already?
Shush! Trust me. They've all been lying to us. But I found out. I know the truth. Do you want to know the truth? Yeah. Do you want to know what he really is? Yeah. He's a caveman.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, I think Woodrow was on the ground laughing so hard because it was so stupid.
Yeah.
But I think...
Like adults didn't get it.
Oh, no. Probably hated Pauly Shore.
Right.
You know? It's kind of like the equivalent of, you know, when we're walking by our kids, I'm sure this is the same for you, and they're just watching some idiot on YouTube.
Oh, my God.
And you're going, and they're like, okay, if I flip this bottle, then I got to jump in the pool with my socks on.
Right.
I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
That's probably what our parents were thinking when we put Encino Man in the VCR.
Probably.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
I am interested if any listeners who are, you know, around our age, growing up at that time, 92, when Encino Man came out and you watched it, did you love it? Did you hate it? I'm willing to bet that 95, 99% of the people loved it. But I am interested to see if folks out there were like, Pauly Shore's the worst.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, also being like 11 or 12, I mean, it was like prime, you know, prime time for us to get it.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, dude, I loved it. Speaking of shows, when we get back, I'm going to spoil some.
Oh, come on.
We will return after these messages.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel, maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
Where is Daredevil? I'm right here. Don't miss the return of Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again.
So what's next?
I feel liberated. We're gonna take this city back. Over-medicated. In an all-new season, now streaming only on Disney+.
They're hunting us. It's time we started hunting them.
I can work with that.
This should be tons of fun.
Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again, now streaming only on Disney+.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You know those friends who support your preference for podcasts over music on road trips? That's the energy State Farm brings to insurance. With over 19,000 local agents, they help you find the coverage that fits your needs, so you can spend less time worrying about insurance and more time enjoying the ride. Download the State Farm app or go online at statefarm.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Get business done with the new American Express Graphite Business Cash Unlimited card. With unlimited 2% cash back on all eligible purchases, unlimited 5% cash back on flights and prepaid hotels booked through American Express Travel Online, and a flexible spending capacity that can grow with your business, you'll have the confidence to keep building. Apply today and earn a welcome offer of $1,500 cash back after you spend $50,000 in qualifying purchases on your new card within the first 6 months of card membership. Terms apply. Learn more at go.amex/graphite.
This episode is brought to you by Palmolive. Family time isn't just the big moments. It's weeknight dinners, sitting around the table, everyone talking all at once. So when the plates are empty and the sink is full, use Palmolive Ultra. Palmolive's most powerful formula removes up to 99.9% of grease, leaving your dishes sparkling clean. And the new convenient pump makes cleaning even easier, so you can spend less time tackling dishes and more time together. Shop now at palmolive.com.
This episode is brought to you by Ferrero. Soccer's biggest stage is approaching, and Ferrero is making it easy to go all in. Pick any two Ferrero brands from Kinder Bueno to Ferrero Rocher, and you could win the $1 million grand prize, plus an exciting range of daily and weekly prizes. Don't miss your shot. Official rules apply. Learn more at goallinandwin.com.
Chat, I think it's time to book that trip to Walt Disney World Resort. You know, you work so hard. I think it's time to give yourself a little TLC. Like, when's the last time you had fun? We could hop on a light cycle, eat food from all over the world at Epcot. We could even build those lightsabers you've always wanted. Like, let's make plans for real this summer Find your moment at Walt Disney World Resort.
This NBA playoffs with FanDuel, you're not just watching the playoffs, you're a part of them.
And we're back. Steve's got the phone, opens FanDuel, locks in player points. Quick fingers, you love to see it. Now he's going for threes. Big night for Steve-O.
Be a part of the action and get better payouts this NBA playoffs on FanDuel. 21 plus and present in select states. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET.
Amazon presents Jeff versus Taco Truck Salsa. Whether it's Verde, Roja, or the orange one. For Jeff, trying any salsa is like playing Russian roulette with a flamethrower. Luckily, Jeff saved with Amazon and stocked up on antacids, ginger tea, and milk. Habanero? More like habanero, yes. Save the everyday with Amazon.
Chronic migraine is 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine before they start. It's not for those with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It prevents on average 8 to 9 headache days a month versus 6 to 7 for placebo.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor, visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com, or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
Hey, this is Woody.
And this is Tyler. And you're listening to That Would Be Rad.
And now, back to our show.
So, I have a new mission. Okay. And this is like between me and the listeners. Woody, you can just cover your ears.
Starting to sweat.
I've tried to get Woody to start a show called Widow's Bay on Apple TV. Maybe over a month now.
No.
And so the mission is that until he watches it, I'm going to bring it up in the episode and absolutely spoil every episode.
Listen. The reason why I haven't started it yet.
There we go.
Is because I'm waiting for it to just where it's all episodes are available.
That's dumb.
And then I can binge it.
Dumb. Just watch one episode.
I understand. I will, but I'm just saying that's the reason why, because I don't want to wait to, you know what I mean?
It doesn't. The thing that's cool about it is it really does feel kind of like, I don't know. It almost feels like Creature of the Week kind of style, kind of like a. I mean, sort of, not really. It's like things are kind of.
Well, now see, I feel like we're already.
I told you.
Spoiling things.
I told you.
Creatures of the Week. I don't know anything about it.
I don't mean that. I just mean like that phrase, like Creature of the Week, or.
It's just anthology.
Sort of anthology.
It's probably the best way to say it without spoiling anything.
No, but I mean, like, it has that feel of like, sort of like X-Files, which the topic has nothing
I got it. I appreciate you.
But it's like...
now you're like really making sure I know that you're not spoiling it.
No, but it's like, there's a very like familiar sort of nostalgic nature of it.
That's cool.
Of it coming out sort of week to week.
Okay, I'll watch it. Okay.
Okay, well, you have 1 week.
Yeah, no problem.
Because the next episode, I'm absolutely going through it line by line.
I mean, I wish there was something that I have been watching lately, but to be honest with you, I just haven't had any any time to do it.
You've been
I haven't
busy
really watched
reading like 100 books.
Okay, and reading, yes. Yeah, I haven't really, and watching old movies. You know, that's the thing. I'm that guy who is like, man, I know Tyler's been telling me to watch this show. What's it called?
Widow's Bay.
Widow's Bay. And not only will I forget the title and just abandon it immediately, but I'm like, man, I don't really have time to watch something that I don't know. What am I going to do? Throw it on. Encino Man in the VCR. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
I have a tendency to do that a lot.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. But Widow's Bay, for our listeners that are also hip to that show, it's so good. It's so like funny. It's like a show that has like this sort of idea, but it's not like it's not like married to being a particular like genre either. So it's like it's really, really like funny, but like there's nothing in the show that would be like, oh, it's a comedy.
Really?
If that makes sense. Like I mean, sort of, but it's, I don't know. You just got to see it. It's really unique and kind of different for other shows out at this time. And yeah, I love it.
Well, I'll check it out.
Okay. One thing that we can spoil, pal, unless you want to go to something. So let me preface this by saying I got on the absolute Batman train from issue 1. So I have every issue, and I think I could probably sell that for several thousands of dollars now.
Let people know what Absolute Batman is, just in case they don't know.
So Absolute Batman is a book that came out in, I think, 2020, maybe 2024, because they're into the 20s now. But it's by Scott Snyder, who is so good. He's the guy that did like Court of Owls and that Greg Capullo run. But it's him, and then the art is done by a guy named Nick Dragotta, and it's so good. Like I said, I got on the train early, but then I started seeing that these issues were worth so much that I was like, man, I'm just gonna wait on the trade. So I waited, and because for some reason, even though like I still have a pull list at my shop and stuff, but I like to read the trades just because you can kind of like throw them around, and you know, you'll find like a trade on like every side table throughout my house, you know, just wherever I'm at, I just pick it up and read. But it's so good. It's like I don't want to totally spoil it, but for our, you know, people that would be interested in this, it feels sort of like an Elseworld story for our old school DC fans, where it's like a retelling of Batman and Bruce Wayne and your you know, just the Batman mythos, but it's totally different, and it's like a real retelling in a way that originally I thought would be kind of gimmicky. Like I thought the art was great. Like Dragotta's awesome. He's one of Felix's guys. He's he did like East to West. I mean, he's done a bunch of stuff. He's amazing. But I kind of thought like, oh, it's just sort of ripping off like Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller. You know, he's this huge like big bruiser kind of guy. But then once you start like reading, you realize like, oh, this is kind of like a totally different thing. Like,
oh yeah,
you know, everything from like Alfred's totally different from, you know, he's not wealthy. He's like a blue collar guy, but like the way he sort of has these resources are like somehow almost more interesting than the original. Yeah, but it's fascinating. I finally
you can kind of say that. I mean, I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to sort of talk about the story, how the story is a little different. I mean, I don't know if you want to go into that too. Is that spoiling?
I kind of think it is spoiling a
little.
We
won't then. All I will say is Tyler was begging me to read it.
Yeah,
especially at Free Comic Book Day. I think I bought both the trades.
You did buy both trades, yeah.
And I just went through them both so quickly.
Yeah, quick
in
reads.
A good way. It was just amazing. Mm-hmm. The story is awesome. It's so different,
right?
And I think, and I don't know, I haven't really looked online because I don't really care what other people. It is interesting to. I wonder if other people hate that. I don't know. Do you know anything about that? Do you know if people really just don't like the fact that it's completely different in terms of the story and stuff?
I think people are taking it pretty positive because it is the first issue sold over 400,000. There's been like multiple, like 6 or 7 like reprints. Yeah, it's individual issues sell over 300,000 print copies per month. It was the 2025's best-selling graphic novel. The entire Absolute Universe line has sold over 8.2 million units. Absolute Batman alone accounting for nearly 3 million copies. So, yeah, it's really like blown up comics again. I mean, not necessarily, not quite to like the Image sort of speculation boom of like the 90s, but it, like here it says the first printings of issue 1 maintain a strong secondary market value, generally selling for around $400 for graded CGC. Well, that's actually not correct because every comic shop I go to, it's like way more. But like, yeah, dude, it's like blown up and it's like really created like a buzz again for like comics. So I think people are really on board.
Yeah.
Speaking on Absolute Batman, I also had you pick up the first annual, which it's like sort of half James Hare and half Daniel Warren Johnson, which is some of the most stunning, like kinetic art I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'm a big Daniel Warren Johnson fan. I have been for a long time. He really sold me on like the Wonder Woman, Dead Earth stuff.
Right.
I'm looking at a piece of his art above me in my studio. He's so good. He's like been one of Felix guys forever. And he's like one of the fastest artists I've ever seen in my life. There's another artist by the name of Stephen Green, if you guys know. We always kind of link up at Heroes, and it was funny, we were talking about it, and the year that I showed at Heroes, and I had a table and everything, and I was talking to Steven, we were kind of like, man, it's like sort of annoying, especially if like you use a brush or like you nibs or whatever. It's like you're trying to like dip your brush, but like people are like bumping your table and you're trying to knock out commissions, and you can't really have fun because you're gonna like, as soon as the show's over for the day, you're gonna have to go back to your hotel and bust out like 10 commissions or whatever, which is a good problem to have. But so Steven and I were talking. By the way, Steven is a like Hellboy artist. He's done a bunch of stuff. He's so good. But him and I were talking, and he was like, man, and he's also Felix comic art, repped artist,
right?
Like Daniel Warren Johnson, actually, and Dragata too from Absolute Batman. And he was like, God, if only it could be so easy. If only we had the same kind of loosey-goosey style that Daniel has, where he's just like busting stuff out in like minutes. Like while somebody's at the table, he's just so fast that it's just like, and it's like he, instead of us where it's like, hey, I got to have my like surroundings just right. I got to get in a quiet place where nobody's going to knock over my inkwell, all this stuff. It's like he just busts out like whatever he has. He's just like one of those guys. And so he's so good. But I turned Woody on to and made Woody pick up the first annual for Absolute Batman, and it's just awesome. And so my buddy Keith, hopefully that I see at Heroes this year, was an early Daniel Warren Johnson guy, and he's such a fan that when Felix, do you know what I'm talking about when I say Felix comic art, Woody? It's like Felix comic art is like an art rep. So he reps like a bunch of these huge artists. He has like Paul Pope, just Ian Bertram, a ton of guys that like are all some of my favorite artists of all time. And
Nick Darrington.
Yeah, Nick Darrington. Yeah, pretty much all the guys that
James Jean.
Yeah, I mean he's got some big heavy hitters. So my buddy Keith is such a big fan that when he heard that Felix Comic Art was releasing the pages from Wonder Woman Dead Earth, he is such a big fan that he went to Felix personally and was like, I just want to buy the whole issue. So he literally has an entire, I think there were like 4 issues, but like each issue is like massive sort of, I think it was, the Black Label stuff. So it's almost like magazine size. So like the originals are like even bigger. They're huge. And he literally just bought an entire issue of the original art pages.
Man.
Which I'm telling you, dude, there's like, I know this sounds maybe hyperbolic in a way, but like for me as a comic artist, like to be able to literally almost read a comic as like the giant sized like originals, like in order, it's dude, it's one of the craziest things to see that.
Yeah.
It's like mind blowing.
Well, and I think a lot of people probably don't know when you say that, they're like, what does he mean? Because whenever you're growing up, not a comic book artist,
right?
You know, myself as an example, you don't really, you're looking at the comic like, man, I don't understand how they draw that.
Oh
small.
yeah, dude. I
you know,
I thought the same thing. Yeah.
And what you don't realize is, you know, it's actually drawn at a much larger scale.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what the number is. I don't know if it's like 10 to 1 or what, but then it's like shrunk down to that comic size. And so to be able to see that art that huge.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Which I want to say that like you didn't even realize that until you saw me doing originals probably.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's like, I mean, it's roughly like 8 by 11 or something, a regular comic. And then the originals that you're drawing on are 11 by 17. So they're, I mean, it's almost like doubled technically.
Well, I'm not going to do the math right now in my head.
But roughly.
It's if you didn't know that, it's weird whenever you see it kind of, because and then it all makes sense, you know. They're like, oh, but then there's so much that can happen and get lost.
That's my problem.
In that sort of transformation into that smaller format.
Yep.
So much can get lost. So much of the detail.
Yeah.
And there's artists like, it's funny, Felix comic art, I guess the role of the list of artists that he has kind of strike me. I mean, they're all different and unique, of course, but the things that I like about them are the same reasons and that I like Tyler's art, in that it's very detailed and there's like little bitty things that Nick Darrington's a good example, that they do that you can tell like, okay, this person is doing this by hand and just, you know, meticulous little things like the tick marks and just different things like that, that can get lost, man, whenever you shrink it down and compress it really. It's just like in a lot of ways too, music is kind of similar in that, you know, when you have a track and then you compress it down, a lot of the little details can get lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's one of my, probably one of my biggest difficulties when approaching like comic art is like I just get hyper granular on, you know, we're talking like 0.003 microns, like the littlest of tick marks. Yeah, I get like super enveloped in these like for I think for most artists, which is what you should do, it's like the correct way. But and I mean, I do thumbnailing and all this stuff to get sort of, you know, page composition and all this stuff. But one of the, actually, I'll just be honest, I did a story for Jeff Lemire. It's a Black Hammer story. It was like a Colonel Weird anthology, which is awesome because it's like a hardback and it's, you know, beautiful, and it's a bunch of different artists, sort of anthology. It's anthology in like every story is a different artist, which is cool, but it's like sort of a continual storyline. But one of the things that I had difficulty on is working with a writer that I'd never worked with before. And so, you know, it's like, you know, in the past, like working with my buddy John or me being able to write, you know, this stuff, it's different because I know how much, okay, well, how many speech bubbles are going to be included in this? Okay, well, the speech bubble is at least going to be this big, so this is going to give me this much real estate per panel, you know, that kind of thing. It's just, it kind of is a lot of math. But like the other thing is like, I get so granular in the details that I forget, like, oh man, once this is printed, like you're not even going to see any of this stuff. And so like, that's why I think guys like Daniel Warren Johnson are so effective, because it's like, they really utilize like the real estate they have, but then they don't get super bogged down into the details, even though he can be like hyper detailed, but it's still, I don't know. He just has like a perfect command of like the comic page, you know, as cheesy as that sounds. Anyway, yeah, looking forward to Heroes going this year. But bringing up Daniel Warren Johnson, I kind of got hooked, and I was like, man, is there any other stuff that I haven't read? I've read Extremity. I haven't read Do a Powerbomb, which, Woody, I think you would absolutely love it because you're into all the weird manga, like sports stuff. And so
I wouldn't call it weird, but okay.
Well, I mean, your average comic reader isn't going to be into like a manga volleyball.
Well, your average reader in general, myself included, wouldn't think that I would be just immersed in this volleyball story.
You love it though.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Well, so Daniel Warren Johnson grew up being a big fan of like
volleyball.
No, not volleyball. of wrestling, and you know, like WWE, WWF stuff. And so he has a book called Do a Powerbomb that kind of like revolves around that, but like all of like that energy. And I kind of think him growing up being such a fan of like pro wrestling, it's why like his action sequences are so just like visceral, and like, and there's also a lot of manga influences actually too, to where it's that like really explosive dynamic, you know, the fist is as big as like the whole page, and then his body like recedes to being like tiny. So you really see that like manga, like really like like stretched proportions, right, if you will. But I think you would love that. But there was another book that I've wanted to read forever, and it's Daniel Warren Johnson and another guy that's with Felix called Riley Rosmo, and they're both amazing artists, and it's called The Moon is Following Us. And I got the first trade and I read it in a day, and then immediately went back on Amazon. I'm going to let you borrow both of these. Immediately bought the second trade. There's a couple like critique things that I could say. So it's sort of like in the, not, you know, this isn't going to spoil anything, but there's like in sort of the dream sequences or sort of subconscious sequences, the art is Riley Rosmo. In the more like waking sequences, it's Daniel Warren Johnson.
Oh, that's a cool way to do it.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then I think Daniel primarily like wrote the majority of it. I think they both, you know, there was like, they both have writing credits, but I think Daniel was doing a little more of the heavy lifting in the writing, and then Riley obviously does a little more in like the art stuff. So, but it is still split up, and it's really cool. But man, it is a really like powerful story, like especially as a dad, like it's really cool. Like you definitely have to read it. But yeah, so that's like,
I'll check it out, man.
Sort of what I've been into. Is there anything else? What else?
Well, I mean, one of the things that we're going to be talking about very soon, just like everybody, is we're going to be diving more into, and for context, I think now would be a good time to remind everybody to go back and listen to our episode about Project Bluebeam.
Yeah, because you're about to see it, pal.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
and
it's coming.
That kind of stuff opens all kinds of conversations. I mean, we've gotten some cool messages over the last couple of weeks from, you know, in just in conversations with listeners and stuff. You know, it's a kind of at this point like a running joke on the show that I will attribute everything to time travel. But I was talking to or messaging back and forth with our listener Matt, and we were talking about how, you know, if someone just kind of came out of nowhere and was like, hey, I'm a visitor from the future, blah, 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 blah. We're at the point in time now where nobody believes anything. Or I shouldn't say that. I should say,
oh, I don't.
Everyone, it's not even questions everything. It's sort of like distrusts everything.
Yes.
I think everything is fake.
I think that reality has been so warped in the media and what we're supposed to believe, and we're supposed to accept as like our news, and like it's just, there's such distrust is a perfect word. And I mean, dude, when we started this podcast, granted we're, you know, coming up on 300. Maybe we've already surpassed 300. I don't know. But when we first started this, if you would have told me, if future Tyler would have said, hey, in this many years, the news is going to report that the government is officially confirming that this video is alien or UFO or UAP, whatever, that this is like 100% confirmed as real, and your future self is going to be like, I don't believe any of that.
Yeah.
Like I never would have believed him because, but like I said, it's like, it's been so abused and everything just feels like a psyop. And I am so, and I hate to kind of say this, but it's like, I am so black pilled when it comes to the government and like both sides. I don't care what you are.
Yeah.
I'm just over it. I'm done with all of it.
Yeah, and I don't want to dive too deep into it here because no, not because I don't care, but mainly because
whoa, pal. Hey, pal.
Mainly because we've got that episode that we have planned. I don't even want to mention the title. That it'll probably be next week. I think that we do it. But I think we're going to dive into that a lot. It's just interesting to me that you're right. I think that in a way, it's kind of strange and weird. And I think that's probably why we lean so heavy I'll just speak for myself. I lean so heavy into that nostalgia, and it's easier for me to kind of ignore, and why I think over the years I've just been like, I don't even want to hear it, dude, because, it just becomes overwhelming. And I just wish it was 1992 in a way, to where that innocence, was still there. And I try to keep my mindset that way, which is impossible when your best friend's Tyler, because he's nonstop telling you all of this stuff. But anyway, it's just weird because you can come at it at a bunch of different angles. Either all that stuff is fake, or a lot of it is real, and they're also intentionally releasing fake stuff to make it seem to create what we are in now, which is the distrust everything. It's a lot easier for stuff to happen if you just distrust everything, and then you can kind of manipulate it in a different way. So anyway, all that to say, we've got a bunch of cool stuff lined up this summer. Like I said at the top of the show, we're doing our best. This is a show that is two best friends getting together, talking about stuff that we love from the past and from the now.
And things that we hate, like data centers and ruining Georgia's, drinking water supply in some cities, and eminent domain, which is a thing that this is going to make me sound so ignorant. Here we go.
But I literally didn't know about eminent domain until maybe like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, that is ignorant.
Yeah. Well, because I could not believe for the life of me that was an actual thing that could happen. And we're watching it happen here in Georgia. Now we're not going to get political, and we're not even going to go any further.
Oh, it's everywhere.
But I'm just saying, this is why I'm just going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm about to watch Encino Man again today.
Cue Woody putting
so
pressing play on Encino Man.
I appreciate everybody listening to this somewhat random episode. Go check out Grandma's Been There, the podcast. It's awesome. I promise you're going to love Mrs. Siobhan Berry's voice. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, she deserves more, all the listeners, check it out. It's so much fun to hear a perspective. And something that I told her too is just, can you imagine, being a fourth grader in the early 60s, and then fast forward to now, thinking that even back then, that one day you'd have your own, essentially radio show.
Yeah, right.
That it would be, the barrier of entry would be such that if you wanted to start a show, you could. And I just think that's awesome. And, and again, it creates this community of people around the world. It connects us all. And I think that's what's important, regardless of, your political affiliation or what you look like or where you come from or whatever. We're all human beings for the most part, except for the reptilians and now I think there's, what are the Nordics? Anyway, we'll get there next week.
The other thing that I do want to say, and
I was trying to wrap it up.
What's funny is I haven't even heard an episode at all of Miss Siobhan's podcast, but
you're gonna love it, dude. I promise.
I can't wait. I looked and there's like 70 something episodes, and I've got to say, from one podcast who is either coming up on or we've surpassed 300 episodes, it is so much work. Like there's so many people that are just like, oh, I'm going to start a podcast. And it's like, but if you know, basically. And so I applaud you for putting in that work. Also, this isn't me bursting any bubbles on Beatlemania, but
no, stop.
I do urge you to look up the Tavistock Institute. That's all I'm going to say.
The what?
The Tavistock Institute in the UK. And the Beatles. Just saying. It looks a little like the Laurel Canyon stuff.
Oh, okay, I see.
Which I also
but
loved.
I don't know.
I also loved it. Anyway, yeah, it's been a good episode. I can't apologize enough to our listeners and our best friends and our family out there, because it has been such a difficult
couple months, man.
Yeah, dude. It's like the computer that I had everything on just completely crashed. So it's been, I ended up going out buying a new one and then like trying to have any sort of like
bragging.
Well, yeah, I bought two actually just for good measure, but no, just to be able to like have any sort of consistency from what it was to what it is now. And it's like, it's just been a battle. Woody's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting as far as
that happened even before
editing. No, not so much. Not in the mixing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, the computer's been sent off, and so I think we're in the clear and we're good. So hopefully we are back on track. I'm sure we will miss one or two here and there in the summer. We're going to try to like double up on a few episodes. So if something crazy happens, like, I don't know, an EMP, or finally they kick off Bluebeam, and you don't hear us talking about it, it's because we've backed up several episodes so that, when vacations come and all that kind of stuff. Just giving you a forewarning.
Said it weird.
Forewarning. Warning. Yeah, dude, go find Bionic 6, because it is so good. Even just looking at that, like, the little thumbnail was like, man, I want to go back. If you want to tell us about your favorite obscure 80s, 70s, 60s cartoon, we want to hear about it. You can do that. Join the conversation over on our Instagram. If it's more long form, tell us on our email. That would be radpod@gmail.com. If you're brave enough to use your own voice and possibly become a feature of That Would Be Rad history, you can do so with our voicemail feature over on our website, thatwouldberadpodcast.com. Leave us a cool bumper, something along the lines of, when I'm not doing my own podcast, talking about growing up in the 50s and 60s, I'm listening to That Would Be Rad. Something along the lines.
He's alluding to you, Miss Siobhan.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little bit of a nod to you.
Now we know you've got the equipment, so...
Oh, that is true. Yeah, I'm actually going to be, to be honest, I'm going to be disappointed if we don't hear that. So, also, we are in no way, shape, or form sponsored by her podcast, but
right.
I'm sure it sounds like it because we've talked about it a lot. But anyway, leave your own story, your own cryptid, your own local urban legend that maybe hasn't quite hit the rounds on the internet yet. That's the stuff that we really love.
Also, real quick, while you're talking about this specifically, this is a great example. If you go somewhere cool and want to show us some stuff, like our listener Evan, actually this morning, sent us photos from his recent trip to Egypt. And I'm talking about he's outside of, King Tut's tomb. I mean,
wow.
Amazing pictures, not only to make me jealous, because I'm looking at these pictures and I'm like, my gosh, I can't believe you actually got to see that with your own eyes. It's incredible.
Oh, question for you, pal. Do you, not you,
all right,
in person, does it look like the Sphinx clearly originally had a different head that something happened to, and then they reshaped it into the tiny-headed Sphinx that you see now? Just a question. Because remember the photos that I seen before? It's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Anyway, please always feel free to reach out and talk about a crazy story that you know. Tyler just mentioned this, but we really do mean it. We don't know your local folklore in your, either if you're here in the U.S. or abroad.
Nice.
We want to hear about that stuff because we love those stories and we want to bring them to the other listeners, because let's face it, there's plenty of podcasts out there who talk about the same old stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And we love uncovering and hearing these unique stories that are specific to your area. I'm sure everyone in your town or city or state might already have heard it 1,000 times, but you know what? I bet we haven't. Yeah. And I can assure you that our friends in Tasmania probably haven't heard some of the things that we have here down in Georgia.
That's right.
It's just an example.
Yeah.
Send us stuff, man. We love hearing from y'all.
Yeah, we absolutely do. Also, Woody, maybe on a Patreon we can talk about these like cloud window things we've been seeing lately.
Weird, right?
Really strange. Anyway, if you want to support the show, the best way to do that is over on our Patreon, the Rabbit Trail. It's a little more of what you love. Yes, we do intend on pumping out more episodes over the summer. But yeah, it keeps the lights on. It's if you can do it. If you can't, no problem at all. Like, we're happy that you're here for the free feed. It's sort of like the icing on top for us, and it means the world to us. Like, we're so grateful for it, especially in these times where things are tough in the data centers and all that. Anyway, tell a friend about the show. Leave us a 5-star review. That really, really, really helps. I'm actually going to go leave Miss Siobhan a 5-star review right now, even before I listen to an episode, because she sounds awesome. But you got anything else, Woody?
I think
all
that's
right,
it,
pal.
man.
Well, we love you. We appreciate you. And as always,
be rad.
That's the way it goes.
Time where I just needed some sunshine. You were already dead before you became a ghost. You always said our future would be a parade of